Causticum, Allen's keynote. Adapted to persons with dark hair and rigid fiber, weakly psoric with excessively yellow, sallow complexion, subject to affections of respiratory and urinary tracts. Children with dark hair and eyes, delicate, sensitive skin, prone to intertrigo during dentition or convulsions with eruption of teeth. Disturbed functional activity of brain and spinal cord from exhausting disease or severe mental shock resulting in paralysis. Rawness or soreness of scalp, throat, respiratory tract, rectum, anus, urethra, vagina, uterus. Melancholy mood, sad, hopeless, from care, grief, sorrow, with weeping. The least thing makes the child cry. Intense sympathy for sufferings of others. Ailments from long-lasting grief and sorrow, from loss of sleep, night watching, from sudden emotions, fear, fright, joy, from anger and vexation, from suppressed eruptions. Children slow in learning to walk. I repeat, children slow in learning to walk. Unsteady walking and easy falling of little children. Constipation, frequent ineffectual desire, stool passes better when person is standing, impeded by hemorrhoids, tough and shining like grease in children with nocturnal enuresis. Urine involuntary when coughing, sneezing, blowing the nose. Cough with rawness and soreness in chest, with inability to expectorate, sputa must be swallowed. Relieved by swallow of cold water on expiration, with pain in hips remaining after pertussis, with expectoration chiefly at night. Hoarseness with rawness and aphonia in the morning. At night unable to get an easy position or lie still a moment. Must move constantly but motion does not relieve. Cannot cover too warmly but warmth does not ameliorate. Faint like sinking of strength, weakness and trembling. Psychiatrics, especially burns, scars freshen up, become sore again, old injuries reopen. Patients say they never have been well since that burn. Menses too early, too feeble, only during the day, cease on lying down. Paralysis of single parts, vocal organs, tongue, eyelids, face, extremities, bladder, generally of right side, from exposure to cold wind or draught after typhoid, typhus or diphtheria, gradually appearing. Drooping of upper eyelids, cannot keep them open. Rheumatic affections with contraction of the flexors and stiffness of the joints, tension and shortening of muscles. Warts, large, jagged, often pedunculated, bleeding easily, exuding moisture, small, all over the body, on eyelids, face, on the nose. Patient improves for a time, then comes to a standstill. Relations: complementary carbo-veg, petrose, incompatible phosphorus, must not be used before or after phosphorus. Always disagrees the acids, coffea. Compare arnica. Must swallow mucus. Gelsemium, graphitis, sepia in ptosis. Hoarseness, rheumix and carbo-veg when aggravation changes to evening. Sulfur in chronic aphonia. Causticum antidotes paralysis from lead poisoning and abuse of mercury or sulfur in scabies. It affects the right side most prominently. Aggravation in clear fine weather, coming from the air into a warm room, cold air, especially draught of cold air on becoming cold from getting wet or bathing. Amelioration in damp wet weather, warm air. Causticum, Boericke Materia Medica, manifests its action mainly in chronic rheumatic, arthritic and paralytic affections indicated by the tearing, drawing, pains in the muscular and fibrous tissues with deformities about the joints, progressive loss of muscular strength, tendinous contractures, broken down sinews, in catarrhal affections of the air passages, and seems to choose preferably dark complexioned and rigid fibered persons. Restlessness at night with tearing pains in joints and bones, and faint like sinking of strength. This weakness progresses until we have gradually appearing paralysis. Local paralysis, vocal cords, muscles of deglutition of tongue, eyelids, face, bladder, and extremities. Children are slow to walk. The skin of a causticum person is of a dirty white sallow with warts, especially on the face, emaciation due to disease, worry, etc., and of long standing. Burning, rawness, and soreness are characteristic. I repeat, burning, rawness, and soreness are characteristics. Mind, child does not want to go to bed alone. Least thing makes it cry, sad, hopeless, intensely sympathetic, ailments from long-lasting grief, sudden emotions. Thinking of complaints aggravates, especially hemorrhoids. Head, sensation of empty space between forehead and brain, pain in right frontal eminence. Face, paralysis of right side, warts, pain in facial bones, dental fistula, pain in jaws with difficulty in opening mouth. Eyes, cataract with motor disturbances, inflammation of eyelids, ulceration, sparks and dark spots before eyes. Vision impaired as if film were before eyes, paralysis of ocular muscles after exposure to cold. Ears, ringing, roaring, pulsating with deafness, words and steps re-echo, chronic middle ear, catarrh, accumulation of earwax. Nose, coryza with hoarseness, scaly nose, nostrils ulcerated, pimples and warts. Mouth, bites inside of cheek from chewing, paralysis of tongue with indistinct speech, rheumatism of articulation of lower jaw, gums bleed easily. Stomach, greasy taste, aversion to sweets, feels as if lime were burned in stomach, worse after eating fresh meat. Smoked meat agrees, sensation of ball rising in throat, acid dyspepsia. Stool, soft and small, size of goose quill. Hard, tough, covered with mucus, shines like grease, small shepherd, expelled with much straining or only on standing up. Pruritus, partial paralysis of rectum, rectum sore and burns, fistula and large piles. Urine, involuntary when coughing, sneezing, expelled very slowly and sometimes retained, involuntary during first sleep at night, also from slightest excitement, retention after surgical operations, loss of sensibility on passing urine. Female, uterine inertia during labor, menses cease at night, flow during day. I repeat, menses cease at night and flow only during day. Leukorrhea at night with great weakness, menses delay late. Respiratory, hoarseness with pain in chest, aphonia, larynx sore, cough with raw soreness of chest, expectoration scanty, must be swallowed, cough with pain in hips, especially left, worse in evening, better drinking cold water, worse, warmth of bed. Sore streak down trachea. Difficulty of voice of singers and public speakers. Back, stiffness between shoulders, dull pain in nape of neck. Extremities, left-sided sciatica with numbness. I repeat, left-sided sciatica with numbness. Paralysis of single parts, dull tearing pain in hands and arms, heaviness and weakness, tearing joints, unsteadiness of muscles of forearm and hand, numbness, loss of sensation in hands, contracted tendons, weak ankles, cannot walk without suffering rheumatic tearing in limbs, better by warmth, especially heat of bed, burning in joints, slow in learning to walk, unsteady walking and easily falling, restless legs at night, cracking and tension in knees, stiffness in hollow of knee, itching on dorsum of foot. Skin, soreness in folds of skin, back of ears, between thighs, warts, large, jagged, bleeding easily on tips of fingers and nose. Old burns that do not get well and ill effects from burns. Pains of burns, cicatrices freshen up, old injuries reopen. Skin prone to intertrigo during dentition. Sleep. Very drowsy, can hardly keep awake, nocturnal sleeplessness with dry heat, inquietude. Relationship. According to the careful investigations of Dr. Wagner of Basel, Causticum corresponds to ammon, Causticum forex. Causticum does not agree with phosphorus. The remedies should not be used after each other. Diphtherotoxin follows Causticum in chronic bronchitis. Antidote: paralysis from lead poisoning. Complementary: carbovage, petrocel. Compare Rustox, arsenic, ammoniphos. Modalities: worse, dry, cold winds in clear fine weather, cold air from motion of carriage, better in damp, wet weather, warmth, heat of bed. Dose: 3rd to 30th attenuation. In chronic ailments and especially in paralytic states, the higher potency is once or twice a week.